Hi, welcome back to Philosophy Central. I'm Wyatt. We're with Josh and Reed. We're going to be looking at the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And I would just like to start off with a quote from Melchizedek. And it goes, "Whoever you are or whatever it is that you do, when you really want something, it's because that desire originated in the soul of the universe. It's your mission on earth."
Yeah, so I kind of see a comparison to Jean-Paul Sartre's work, The Meaning of Existentialism, where he talks about how existence precedes essence. So what he means by that is we find our meaning in life after we're born. So once we're born, we find what gives us purpose in life.
But the writing by Jean-Paul Sartre kind of contradicts the whole quote that Wyatt brings up, because it's like talking about, in the book, he talks about how free will is already determined by when you're born.
In the universe.
And how he already has everything planned out, and then it brings up his dream and goes through that. And in Sartre's work, it's like, you have the chance.
Yeah, with your free will,
yes.
your own desires, you can kind of form
you make your existence, basically.
your character.
Yes,
exactly.
You form your own self.
Yeah. So let's just, I guess, get into a little summary of the book. It kind of starts off with young Santiago having a little dream under his sycamore tree in the church about digging up this buried treasure by a pyramid. And then he's not too certain what to think of this, so he goes to like a gypsy and other people and they tell him that, hey, you should travel to Egypt, follow your dream, follow this potential maybe fate, this predetermined fate. And as he's on this journey, he gets robbed, and then he has to make money in order to travel there. So he works at a crystal shop where he learns lots of wise skills, like potentially taking risks, and from these risks he makes lots of money.
It's also kind of like crazy to think how when getting robbed is such like a low point in your life, and for Santiago to turn it around with the help of the gypsy lady to make tons of money is kind of insane to think about.
Yeah, it's going from rock bottom back to where you are.
I think when you go through these struggles in life, that's when you find out who you are and learn life lessons that you probably wouldn't learn otherwise.
Like the hardest points in your life are the times where you learn the most.
Yeah, like you're in a situation where it's either you learn how to get out of it or you struggle.
Or you just keep going in the downward spiral. Exactly. And so once he gets his money, he decides, you know what, I want to continue this journey still. So he decides to join a caravan where he meets an Englishman who is training to be an alchemist, who wants to meet this famous 200-year-old alchemist who has all these amazing powers, right? And so through that, he's traveling on this. He has a little love interaction as he falls in love with a beautiful woman named Fatima. who is just, he's madly in love with and doesn't want to leave. But then this 200-year-old alchemist decides, kind of convinces him that he should still follow his dream, and decides to come with him and join him on this journey throughout. And then they experience ups and downs, and then eventually the alchemist leaves and lets Santiago go to the pyramid, where he comes across a couple men who decide to accost him when he's finally there digging it up. And he's so distraught. He tells them about his whole journey and his dream. And then in the end, basically one of the guys is like, dreams are stupid, what's the point? And he tells them how he has this dream of some sycamore tree in this church. And that happens to be exactly where young Santiago started, and it brings that full circle.
It's just a full circle. He started there and he ends there too.
So he goes back to that church, digs up and that's where his buried treasure was the whole time, right at the beginning. Yeah. And I think a lot of this book that talks about is what is our purpose in life. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean, that also includes nature versus nurture, and how the way you're brought up is how you become who you are.
Yeah. And I think his parents wanted him to be a priest, right?
Yeah, but he decided he didn't want to do that. He wanted to go follow his dream.
He wanted to do something that he wanted to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so I'd like to introduce a new segment to our podcast called Minute with Mike. Hello. Thank you for having me out here today. I'm here to make a quick inference about the Game of Thrones Season 8 and its relation to The Alchemist. So let's start off with Santiago and Brandon Stark, the new king of the Six Kingdoms. They are very similar in that they both have visions in their dreams. There's also obvious foreshadowing in both, as Bran sees a three-eyed raven and later becomes a three-eyed raven in life, and Santiago has the dreams under a sycamore tree, only to come back to the tree at the end of the book to look for the treasure.
This topic of the tree and everything kind of correlates back to Aldous Huxley's writing of Doors of Perception, where he talks about the idea of when you're stuck behind the doors, you're not exposed to everything in the world, and once that opens up, you kind of see everything. And this relates back to Santiago, as for his dream. he was kind of hidden behind everything. But once he started to actually dream, that's when everything opened up. And he thought he saw everything. And same with Bran, how when he became the Three-Eyed Raven and he could like connect through the tree, his perception of the world and how he could foresee everything that was happening kind of shows that that's his main point, his breakthrough when he opened up the doors and he could see everything.
Thank you everyone for listening in on this week's episode of the podcast. Join us next week on A Plumbus and How It Is Made.